Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So this video is going to be about patterns of healing and how there's different patterns and people experience healing differently. It's not always the same. It's not one size fits all. And I'll get into a little more details about what I mean in a moment. I just wanted to start out this video by saying that I am offering one-to-one supportive coaching. So you will find that my rates are lower than what you might see elsewhere online. And I offer a 15-minute free consultation just to see if we might be a good fit for each other. And then a 30-minute session and a 60-minute session. I will leave the link to my online booking system in the description. And also, if you have just a single question to ask me, feel free to email me. I will leave my email address in the description box as well. I just ask that it stays brief and just to one or two questions, as I'm not having enough time to go through each email every day and have lengthy conversations back and forth. So patterns of healing. So a lot of people assume, or maybe they don't assume, but it just seems like in the online communities, the drug injury communities, that everybody talks about waves and windows patterns of healing. And I've seen it in comments and elsewhere where people are really having a hard time if they don't experience that pattern of healing. What does that mean? So if you're familiar with my story or not, I will just briefly recap. I took SSRIs for 7 years for a situational depression when I was laid off. I never was suffering from mental illness when I went on these medications. I was kept on it for 7 years, did a 4-week taper under the advice of my doctor, went into a withdrawal syndrome, didn't recognize it was withdrawal. And I was struggling for 2.5 years. And during that struggle from that original SSRI, I never experienced a window, not one, not a single window, not a partial window, nothing. And so I was under the assumption that, okay, this is not withdrawal. This is not from the drugs. I'm not experiencing windows. This must be something else. This must be organic mental illness. I need to reinstate. So I did reinstate and was polydrugged. I took 8 different drugs, including antipsychotics, more antidepressants, an anticonvulsant, I believe it was gabapentin, and then benzos, which I took for 3 months. Was cold turkeyed off all the drugs I took because the benzos specifically went paradoxical. I developed movement disorder, akathisia, just beyond a nightmare. And then when I was withdrawing from those second set of medications, I didn't have any windows at all for the first 6 months, 6 or 7 months. And then I started getting brief partial windows where I wasn't symptom free, but it was just a lifting of the heaviness and the torment of the really severe symptoms. But it never really lasted very long. And then at 21 months off all drugs, which happened in November of 2022, I had these brain sensations. It was something different than I had experienced before. It was a pleasant sensation. And then after that, I started getting full windows and really felt like I was turning a corner. So there are different patterns of recovery. I've seen it where obviously the windows and waves seems to be the most common, but there are people who don't have any windows and then they have very quick recovery. So I've seen that even with very severe cases, people, and I've talked to these people on the phone, I've had conversations with them one-on-one, where it was just very quickly, overnight almost, or in a short period of time, that their symptoms just quickly fell off. And this could be literally, like I said, overnight. It could be in 1 week, 2 weeks. And these are people who already had been struggling for 3 or 4 years. And then they just had this sudden improvement. For me, it was 21 months. And for other people, it could be, 2.5 years, I've heard 3.5 years. And then they develop a rapid recovery. Then there's other people who have a more linear recovery. One person that I used to talk to all the time sticks out in my mind. He had a very gradual recovery where it was always uphill. He didn't really experience windows and waves. He would have setbacks, but then he would always gradually recover, and it was always an upward trajectory. So there seems to be 3 different patterns. And I don't think it makes a difference in whether or not you recover. Again, like I've mentioned in other videos, all of the symptoms themselves of these drug injuries or withdrawal manifest differently for different people, and the recoveries look different for different people. I don't know if it's just due to genetics or environment or both or whatever, but the symptom presentations from the drug injuries and the healing journeys look different for different people, but the end is still the same. People do tend to get better over time and do tend to recover from these injuries. The timelines are different and how things look are different, but don't get discouraged by, if you aren't someone who gets windows and waves, or if you are someone who does get them, or if you're someone who has more of a linear healing. We all are headed in the same direction towards that recovery. And I wanted to mention that in my first withdrawal from the drug that I took long term, which was 7 years, I did not have any windows, and I still got to a recovery phase, even though it was quite rocky because of my reinstatement and the magnification of my symptoms from that, adding more drugs in, including benzos, coming off all of those, psych ward, ER, hospital visits. It was a lot, but I still got to the end, right? And so just be encouraged that is not, in my opinion, and from all the people I've talked to, relevant as far as, well, does this indicate that this is never going to end for me? What does it mean if I don't get windows? So I just wanted to mention that. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Like I said, you can contact me with a single question by email. You can book a coaching session. You can comment on this video, but I cannot guarantee that I will get to that. See it, comment on it. Sometimes the comments disappear. I'll get a notification. I'll click on it and it'll be gone. So yeah, I hope you all are doing well. It's Labor Day weekend, Friday night here. Just wanted to film some videos. I had a lot on my mind. So I hope you guys have a good long weekend and that you find some peace and solace, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.